It's the start of another month, so it's time to take a look and see how some of the kids are doing. So join me with a tasty beverage of your choice close to hand while we take a look at 6-month, 1-year, 2-year, and 3-year updates. And before we get all that underway, a quick little note. Just after I finished filming last week's video about orchids, my Cattleya orchid decided it was time to bloom. And, we're really happy about that. This one came to me. A friend of mine brought it to me when I was at work. Both worked at the same place, and she said that it had never bloomed for her, and so she was tired of it. And she gave it to me, and I brought it home and did my usual orchid thing with it. And it bloomed in February, as it usually does, the very next year. So, yeah, her loss, my gain. So this is a Cattleya orchid. And the other thing that's kind of cool, in the ongoing seed drama, some of the little guys have really taken off. I don't know if it'll focus in there, but I'll put some close-ups. And yeah. So the ones that are in pond are doing better than the ones that are in organic. And I thought maybe it was because the organic substrate had absorbed a lot of the water I put in, and there might not have been as much available to the seeds. So I did spot water those. But yeah, these are like an inch tall. And it looks like they're getting ready to shed that outer skin from the seed. And if I'd paid more attention in the biology class in college, I probably would remember what that's called. But it looks like it's going to happen. So yeah, so this is very cool. And the first one up, celebrating its 3-year anniversary with me, is my Hoya retusa. Now I know I've shown this before, and it is a favorite. So I'm glad that after 3 years it's still here and doing pretty well. It's January, or actually today's the 2nd of February, 1st of February, one of those early days of February. And it's been very cold and the heat's been running a lot. I'm not looking forward to the bill. So this guy's been struggling a little bit with drying out at the tips, but that kind of happens. On the whole, though, it's doing really well. I'm very pleased with it. It blooms for me. It really appreciated being moved to a self-watering pot. It's in an organic mix. That's what it came in. And it had kind of a fine root system, so I didn't try and pick all that out and move it to pond. But moving it to self-watering made a big difference for this guy. So, yeah. Hoya retusa was first published in 1852 in Hooker's Journal of Botany and Kew Gardens Miscellany by Nicole Alexander Dalzell. And the remarks on the herbarium sheet say India. So yeah, that's where it's from. Northern, so it doesn't do well with a lot of excessive heat and dryness either. So the forced air from the heating system has been, as I said, a little tough on this guy. But he's muddling through and doing as well as he can, which to my eyes looks pretty good. This is a good one if you see them in the stores and have second thoughts, as I did for a very long time. You can make the plant look better and it'll do well. Nothing special. It's not in a special cabinet. It's not anywhere else. It gets nice semi-bright light. So it's sitting, the grow light on the shelf is over here and the retusa is sitting off to the side. It would probably love to climb, and I think that would be a really interesting, I mean, that would be really neat, climbing. But I didn't do that way, and yeah, I'm not about to do it with this one now. So this is Hoya retusa. And the next little monster up is celebrating its second anniversary here. And that's my Hoya Bella inner variegation. This is just I love this plant. This is very, very cool. Hoya Bella is native to Assam and Myanmar and was first published in 1848 in Botanical Magazine or Flower Garden Displayed by William Jackson Hooker. And the sheet note says Burma, which is what they used to call Myanmar. It was originally classified as Hoya lanceolata subspecies Bella, but according to Kew, it's been given its own species name. So it's now Hoya Bella. The leaves are, I'm sure most of you are familiar with Hoya Bella inner variegated, but just beautiful. And it just looks really great cascading down like that. Some people have said that they have trouble with Hoya Bella. I did at first because I was, well, way before I got this one, my original Hoya Bella, which is over there. Oh, it's getting ready to bloom. Because I was believing all the stuff they said about growing it in cactus soil and Hoyas wanted to dry out and other such foolishness. And when I abandoned that, and actually this one is in self-watering, it's in pon because it came as a small cutting, so I was able to make that transition. It has done really well. Hoya Bella loves self-watering pots. It's still a Hoya, so it really doesn't want to be in soil per se, but an organic mix would work fine for it. The advantage to the pon for this one is that the weight of this plant could pull it off the edge of the shelf where it's growing. So the dead weight of the pon in here helps deal with that. The blossoms are really beautiful. They're just plain, simple, just beautiful. Some of my favorite Hoya blossoms for their simplicity. So yeah, this one's doing really well. I noticed some peduncles coming in on this one. So yeah, we're gonna have blooms in a little bit. It's a great addition. I know there's a whole argument about it's Louis Bois, Louis Bois, Louis Bois, Louis Blois, Lois, the whole thing. I just avoid all that because no one seems to agree, and there's like 100 different variations and spellings and everything else. So I just use the term inner variegated. And this is Hoya Bella, inner variegated. And another little monster celebrating its 2-year anniversary here is my Hoya krohniana black. Now, Hoya krohniana is native to the Philippines, was first published in 2009 in Fraterna, the official bulletin for International Hoya Association by Robert Dale Kloppenberg. And there are lots of variations of krohniana out there. Chances are they're just random variations, random sports that have been cloned again into something different, but that's fine. The leaves on this are very pretty. You see the new ones up top that are getting some light have the black color. They come in green, they come in really dark green and tend to migrate to black, but it's not a true black leaf. This one in particular develops these incredibly long, let's see if I can get this, peduncles. Let's see if I can cover me and show the peduncle. Probably not, that's like walking and chewing gum. But they're very, very long peduncles. This one's getting ready to bloom, which is very neat. We'll do that again, see if it focuses. Nope. I'll put some close-ups as usual. This one clearly has done fairly well for me. It has had some difficulties with drying out, and that's my fault, that's operator error. But it's done really well. It's a very pretty plant. I need to cut it to shorten it, but it's loaded with peduncles and I hate to lose them right now. So I might cut it in a little bit when it's done blooming. And if I can stay on top of the watering, it's not gonna stop blooming. This has just been a really good one for me. Very, very pretty. I do like me some krohniana. I've got a couple of them. A super silver, which used to be called another name, and the black one here. So yeah, it's done really well. Easy care, no problems, not really any pest issues. If I can keep it on top of the watering, it does fine and blooms. So yeah, this is very cool. This one came from the Hoya shop on Etsy, and this is Hoya krohniana Black. And the next one celebrating a 2-year anniversary is this one. This is Hoya kenejiana variegated. When I saw it online, I saw leaves that looked like that. Let's see if I can get it to focus. And those leaves are just gorgeous. Sadly, that's the only one of those leaves that it has produced. Everything else has looked like this. There were some leaves early on that looked like that, but I wanted a whole plant of those, and that hasn't happened. They are absolutely beautiful. Now, kenejiana is native to New Guinea. It was first published in 1913 in the Botanische Jahrbucher für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie by Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And I would like that, Fred, did the rest of the plant look like that, or I don't know. I've tried different lighting for it. I've tried different watering schedules. It's in a self-watering pot, and it's found the reservoir. I just can't figure out what it wants. So, I'm going to keep trying again. Maybe a cut? I don't know. Maybe another treatment for mites. It's been treated before. I don't know. If I could get that, we would all be happy. Well, me. I would be happy. It's got beautiful veins in there. It's just cool. Yeah. If anybody has really good success with this, let me know. This is Hoya kenejiana, variegated. And celebrating its 1-year anniversary here is my Hoya undulata. Now, Hoya undulata is endemic to Kalimantan on Borneo only. So from West Kalimantan, Putasibau, and it was found at a height of 300 to 380 meters. It was first collected in 2024. That can't be right. There's an error in here someplace. I have a note that says it was collected in 2044 and published in 2015. Probably it was collected in 2014 and published in 2015 in Gardens Bulletin by Sri Rahayu and Michaela Rhoda. And the name undulata means wavy, as the leaves are along the edges. And you will notice that this plant has some sulfur on it, because something's going on. Yeah, it put out a nice long vine, and I made the mistake of touching the vine. And you don't do that, I guess. And I knew that, and I tried to avoid doing it, but, well, clearly that didn't work. And then I started losing a couple of leaves, and I thought, this plant had done so well. I mean, almost everything you see here is new growth since I've had it in the last year. So it's starting to lose a leaf. Yeah, something was going on. I've been very careful about regular watering on this. It's not a very demanding plant in terms of water, but I've been very careful about it. Yeah, so that was a little bit like frustrating. Especially since this plant came to me in January, end of January, a year ago when it was bitter cold and it took 10 days to get here. Just like, this plant has survived so much, so I'm not going to lose it to mites if that's the what's going on here. So, yeah, still fingers crossed. It's still, if you can look past the sulfur, the leaves are just beautiful. I mean, they're just amazing. Yeah, so that's how we're doing with this one. Hopefully I can get it back on the road to happiness. And we'll see another vine, and I'll just leave it alone. I won't touch it, I promise. I promise. This one came from TQ Hoyas on Etsy, and this is Hoya undulata. Now the next little guy is Hoya patella pink. Now, Hoya patella is native to New Guinea, and it was first published in 1913 in the Botanische Jahrbucher für Systematik, Pflanzengeschichte und Pflanzengeographie, the Botanical Yearbooks for Systematics, Plant History, and Plant Geography, by the patron saint of the Hoya room here, Friedrich Richard Rudolf Schlechter. And I ordered this one because it's got really pretty blossoms. And I haven't seen them yet. I've just seen photos. It's a nice enough little plant. The leaves are, and I'll put in some close-ups and stuff, very pubescent. It's been getting good watering. I think I don't have the light situation right. I had it closer to my southeast facing window. I mean, it's maybe a foot back from that window. And I thought it looked like it was getting too much light, so I moved it further back, and it's on the front of my desk, which is maybe a meter, 3 feet, 4 feet from that window. So it might want just a little bit more. Yeah. It's healthy. The leaves all look fine. He doesn't really play with the other plants, so it shouldn't be a mite issue, but I'm probably give him a treatment as well too, because, nothing hurt. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to this one. I'd like to see it really take off. Yeah, well, fingers crossed on this one. This one came from Lee Fei Co. on Etsy, and this is Hoya patella, pink. Now plants that are celebrating their 1-year anniversary, and thankfully no more plants that are struggling. This is Hoya obcordata. Now, Hoya obcordata was first published in 1883 in the Flora of British India by the Hoya Room's other patron saint, Joseph Dalton Hooker. And this one has done really well. You'll notice there's some sulfur because he was on the shelves where the outbreak occurred. So beautiful little leaves. I'll put some close-ups for you. And this has just grown really, really well. I should have a photo of what it looked like when it first arrived. I'll put that over there as well. It's just growing up a storm. I mean, up, down, left, right. There we go. Anyway, I'll put close-ups. It's a beautiful little plant. It has done very, very well. It has 1 peduncle, and I have not seen the blooms yet because it blasted them. I think I let it get a little too dry, but I'm keeping an eye on that now. It's been a happy, healthy grower. The leaves are sort of heart-shaped with nice raised veins. It'd be nice if I could get it to focus on those. There you go. They're very cute. They're very pretty. I think if this gets to be a full little trellis here, this is going to be an absolutely beautiful plant. Really like this one. Yeah, that's why I hit it with sulfur as soon as I thought there was, when it's one of its immediate neighbors seemed to be having trouble, I hit this one with sulfur because, yeah, I'm keeping this one. This has been very cool to grow. This one came from Leaf Fei Co. on Etsy, and this is Hoya obcordata. Next little buddy up is Hoya rotundiflora. Now, Hoya rotundiflora was first collected in 2019 by Toril Nijhuis and was published in 2011 in Phytotaxa by Michaela Rhoda and Nathaniel Simonson. And I ordered this. I love those leaves. Those leaves are just cool. I ordered this because I had another one. I put it in a really bad location, not for the plant, but for me. It was kind of tucked back, and so it wasn't in sight. And it got away from me. And I thought, I hated to lose it because these leaves are just so cool that why wouldn't you want a plant with leaves like that? So I was afraid I was going to lose it. I ordered a cutting and I took cuttings from the other plant. Those cuttings took off like a house on fire. They appeared to be happy to have another chance at life. This one I bought as an unrooted cutting, and it has done very well for 6 months. I think that's pretty good. My plan for the two of them is the other one, it's growing back up here, is going to grow up on a trellis, and this one I'm going to let hang. The original mother plant I had seemed to want to climb. It was looking for stuff. It was reaching out like crazy. And I thought, okay, this really wants to go up. So I thought, well, let's try it both ways. You know, I have one that'll go up and this one will cascade. So it's pretty much ready, I think, to, oh yeah, he's ready. Oh yeah. We're a little behind schedule on this one. He's very ready to move into his own long-term residence. So yeah, I'm going to do that. This is very cool. If you're looking for stuff that's just really, I mean, look at how neat those leaves are. That's very cool. This is Hoya rotundiflora. And next up, a 6-month anniversary, is Hoya sungwookii. Now, I've shown this one before because I'm so happy I bought this plant. Background, Hoya sungwookii is native to Vietnam, to the Hanh Hoa province and Nha Trang town. It was first collected in 2023 and published in 2024 in Hoya by Leonid Vladimirovich Avaryanov, Ba Vung Chong, Pham Hu Nham. And it was named after Mr. Sung Wook, who first found the plant and gave it to those three, I was going to say gentlemen, but I don't know that they're gentlemen, 3 nice people, botanists, who then used it in their study and published it. This thing is just a beauty. I can't say enough good things about how beautiful this Hoya is. And none of that is sulfur. This one has grown really, really, really well. I love the shape of the leaves. I love the splash on them. Can you see that one in there? Yes. I mean, that's just beautiful. It's growing very, very well, as I said. Vines like crazy, no issues. It seems to be fairly hardy. I'm sure that on occasion, it's got a good root system on it. I'm sure that on occasion, it has gotten a tad drier than it would like, and it seems to have like sloughed that off with no trouble at all. It gives me stuff like that, which is just beautiful. Yeah, if you're looking for a really, really pretty, very unique Hoya, this one has done quite well by me. I can recommend this one. This is Hoya sungwookii. Next up, having been here for 3 months, is not a Hoya, but a Papuahoya, which is a fairly new species. They're related, but it's a different species. This one I purchased as Papuahoya species 01. Now, it's native to New Guinea, and it was first published in 2020 in Mitteilungen aus dem Botanischen Garten und Museum Berlin-Dahlem, or Communications from the Botanical Garden and Museum at Berlin-Dahlem. And it was published by Michaela Roda and Nathaniel Simonson. Nothing else grows for me like this. This has just, I mean, it's crazy. That much growth, let's see if I can, that much growth in 6 months. Nothing seems to phase it. The leaves are very pretty, very, very pubescent. I'll put in close-ups. Cute little kind of slightly elongated heart-shaped. You may have seen tiny little bits of sulfur on here because I was not going to risk losing this one. And it has just done, let's see if I can get it to, so well. It's just, I mean, that's a lot of growth for 6 months. And it gets the same care that my other Hoyas get. I'm just really, really thrilled with this one. I mean, that's like, it's just going like crazy. Very pleased with this. Very cute. Slight recessed veins on the leaves. They're dark green. They're pubescent everywhere. I probably won't be able to get that to show what I'm hoping it will. Close-ups, yeah. This has just been really good. I have seen lately that the price has gone up a bit. So if it's in your price range and you're thinking about it, I would say do that, because for me, this has just been, I mean, I look at that and think that's 6 months growth. That's 6 months worth of growth. It branches readily. It has not bloomed for me yet, which I would really like to have happen, because then I could stop referring to it as species 1 and find out which one of the 3 species it is. I did get in touch with Michaela Roda, but and he was very kind to answer, but until it blooms, we're all a little reluctant to specifically identify it. If anyone out there knows which species of Papuahoya is known as species 01, that could at least give me a place to start looking. And I want the others now. It's really, the way this has grown, I want the other 2. Whichever one this is, I want the other 2. So yeah, I haven't seen any signs of peduncles, so positive identification may be, I'm hoping, positive identification may be some time away, but if you can put up with not having blossoms and having this kind of phenomenal growth, this is a short optimistic trellis. I could easily have done the full 24 inches and this plant would have filled it. This is just cool. This is one I'm real happy about. This is Papuahoya species 01. The next 6-monther is my little Dischidia hirsuta. Now, Dischidia are cousins to Hoyas, and I really enjoy them. They are native to the Bismarck Archipelago, Borneo, Cambodia, Java, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, New Guinea, the Philippines, the Solomon Islands, Sulawesi, Sumatra, Thailand, Vanuatu, and Vietnam. And hirsuta was discovered in Burma and Malaya, so probably somewhere on that peninsula. It was first published in 1826 as a leptostemma hirsutum by Carl Ludwig von Bloom, but it was determined to be a Dischidia and republished in 1844 in the Prodromus Systematis Naturalis Regni Vegetabilis, the prodrome of the natural system of the vegetable kingdom, by Joseph Decane. And hirsuta means shaggy, and it gets that name from these furry little leaves. And I'll do close-ups because this is really, well, maybe there. I was going to say it's really not doing it justice. This one I bought as a small cutting. I don't remember if it was rooted or unrooted, but it has done, this is all new growth. So that's pretty cool, considering it had to put together a root system and get things going. It's very cute, it's very pretty, it's done rather well. And it's a welcome addition to my collection of Dischidia. So yeah, I'm pretty pleased with this one. I think from looking at these lower leaves, these newer leaves, it might be getting a little bit more light than it would prefer. So I think I'm going to move it over here onto the big desk. My Dischidia seem to prefer slightly lower light levels. So yeah, I'm going to continue on with that approach to this. But this is done really well if you're a Dischidia person. This is a really cute plant. My hope is that it turns into a beast of a Dischidia, the way my rucifolia has. So yeah, doing well for 6 months. This one came from the Plants Our Life shop on Etsy, and this is Dischidia hirsuta. Before we get to the question for the comments, a very special thank you to Marlene, who bought me some coffees. I really appreciate it. That kind of support helps keep me in plants and helps pay for new tech and all the other things needed to get this on the air. So yeah, Marlene, thank you again. Heartfelt thanks, very much appreciated. And this week's question for the comments is, what's your weirdest Hoya? Now that can be a Hoya that's typically unique, shall we use that word, on its own, or one that has just gone off on a tangent. Not at all what you had planned, not at all what you had thought it was gonna be, just weird. So yeah, in the comments below, tell me which one of your Hoyas is weird. Not that there's anything wrong with weird, that's not necessarily a negative thing, but it's like, you look at it and you go, that one's just weird. And as usual, I want to thank you for choosing to spend some time with me this week's end. Please remember to click the thumbs up like button, the subscribe button, and the notification bell. They all help my channel grow. A lot of the products that you've seen me use are available through my Amazon storefront, and I receive a small commission on the sales, but it doesn't affect your price at all. If you'd like to support the channel, there's a link. There's not a click, you're gonna make the click. There's a link to my Buy Me a Coffee page, or there's a thanks button down here below the screen, and YouTube takes care of the thanks button. And thank you, Lisa, for the clue. I'm gonna post links to a couple more videos over here. And as always, enjoy the rest of your week's end.